So, just wanted to welcome you first and foremost. Thank you, Tiphereth, for joining us today for our podcast highlighting the HTA program and you as an incredible artist. So, real quickly for our viewers, the Health Through Art program focuses on creating high quality art experiences for our artists as well as our community and those living in Alameda County. We have our art workshops throughout the year that people could participate in. They vary from yoga to art therapy. And then we also have our Call for Art, which is every 2 years. Last year, we wrapped up on our 13th Call for Art, so we've been doing it for almost 20 years, hosting the Call for Art, and it's basically to generate high-quality art from our artists within Alameda County, from Oakland especially. We have a lot of folks who are in high school, middle school, and then, all the way up to our seniors who participate. So it's a really wide audience that we are able to capture, and they focus on things like mental health. And this past time, our theme was, what does mental wellness look like to you? And so Tiphereth is actually one of our winners from the 13th Call for Art. She had an incredible piece that got a lot of votes from our community members who participated in the selection committee. Out of 62 pieces, Tiphereth was one of the winners. So congratulations once again.
Thank you.
And we were very proud of you. Your art was featured in a billboard. So yeah, that's a little background about the Health Through Art program, and why we're here today to talk a little bit about the Call for Art. So I'll let Tiphereth get to her part and tell us a little bit about herself. Where did you grow up? And
I'm really just a baby. I was born in Berkeley when my family lived in Oakland, but then we moved to Richmond, and I kind of just was raised in different parts of the Bay from San Francisco to Oakland up until I was in high school, and primarily just been based in Oakland from there. Yeah.
Nice. And then when did you realize your love for art? Because your art is, without a doubt, incredible. You guys can see it surrounding her, and it's just brightening up this whole entire room.
Well, when I was a little girl, my dad, a lot of people, they wanted to invest into me because I was not really going anywhere. I was always in the house. I didn't do anything. And, they just wanted me to do something. So he would teach me how to draw. He taught me about colors. He had me watching all the documentaries he could think of. I was reading about inventors and different holidays that were not really holidays, and all different kinds of stuff. And drawing was one of the things I thought that he wanted me to perfect. And that was the only reason why I had did it at first, just because I thought that was just like math. You just want to make sure that I know what I'm doing and that I know what I'm talking about and that I don't look silly. And that's what I thought. So I perfected it because I wanted him to not question me on it anymore, and him to know that I can do it. And then he was a single father, so I didn't know my mom at the time, and I didn't really think of art as a therapeutic tool until actually I ran into my mom. And she put me in this position where I needed to isolate myself, and I didn't know what to do. And I wanted my dad, but I didn't want to call my dad because when you have single parents, it kind of makes them feel inferior to the other parent if the child is always asking for the other parent. And it's sometimes, not saying that it's the child's responsibility, but sometimes it makes sense for you not to do that to your parent and to figure it out with your parent because they're figuring it out too by themselves. And instead of saying I want my dad, I put myself in the closet and I decided to draw. And I couldn't even remember what I was upset at my mom about by the time I was done drawing. I was just so happy. And I had drew my friend, so I couldn't wait to go to school to show her. And I forgot to show her and everything. But I was thinking about it, I can't even remember why I'm mad at my mom, and I feel good. And all I care about now is this drawing and making more like this. And now I want to draw people. And And, as I got older, it kind of impacted me more when I got my first job. And my first job was at it was an art studio where like kids could get paid to paint. And
wow,
yeah, it was basically how they presented it to me too. Like I was walking my friend, he was my best friend at the time. I was walking him to his job, and he didn't tell me what kind of job he had. So I was a little upset when I walked in because I do art like all the time. I've been doing this since I was 3, so it's like
wow.
He didn't say anything. His boss just walked up to me. Her name was Skittles. And she was like, do you need a job? I was like, yes. She was like, do you like to do art? I was like, yes. She was like, are you free every day of the week? I said, yes.
It was like you were in the perfect place at the perfect time, right?
Yes. I said, can I start? No, she said, can you start today? I said, can I start tomorrow? I was just overwhelmed.
Just to let everything sink in, like this really just happened, right?
Yes, I will come back tomorrow. And I did. And I was there for like 3 years. And when I worked there, I realized that the kids, because they move you up in that, and you end up having more responsibility the longer you're staying, and eventually you're not like the kids who just walk in. Now you're like Skittles, hiring them, teaching them how to use the supplies, and when I had that position, it was like I realized how art was impacting these kids. The way they looked at me. There were a lot of kids that would come to us saying that they weren't artists and they didn't do art, and they would turn around and they would put their most intimate parts of their lives in these paintings, and these people would not know what these people are painting, but they would still appreciate it. And there's this sense of they could keep their secrets. At the same time, they can express what their pains are. Like, you don't have to talk about whatever's going on at home for you to paint it, and people are still going to love it. And they don't ask you all the time why you did it. And if they do, you don't always have to tell them exactly where it's coming from. You could get a general statement and they will still get the gist. I mean, me as an artist, I walked past a couple of the kids I was working with, and I saw exactly what was going on in their art. And my response would always be, this is really good. This is strong work. I really appreciate what you're giving me right now. Keep this going, because at least they're getting it out. There's people that just hold it in the whole time. And I don't know, just working with those kids, they even babies outside of when I stopped working there, the babies, one of my friends, she had a son, and he didn't do a lot, but when me and him started coloring together, the way he looked at me after the third piece we made was he was so appreciative. He never thought that this was something that he could do. He doesn't really do that much. So it's a 3-year-old boy finding out that he can create whatever, and it's so much freedom in it,
Yeah. And like you say, at that age, I mean, that's incredible, for him to be able to express that and to put that on paper and, or on a canvas. But then I also love how you're art in a way is it's the artist's secret, right? They're able to open up, but at the same time, sometimes you don't know the full message behind the art, and that's okay too.
Yeah. Well, one of my teachers in college told me that it's not about, she was an art history teacher. She said, it's not about what the artist was thinking. It's about what it makes the viewer feel. So I could have just felt whatever and painted that. But if it brings up anything for you, that is what is important. It's not really what I was doing. For the moment when I made it, yes, it was important. But because I chose to let everybody see it now, it's for them. And whatever comes up for them is important. It might not be the same thing I see, though.
Right. Definitely. Because
everybody
views it in a different way. I mean, we've all had different experiences, different life backgrounds, right? So even certain colors have different meaning for different people. So
definitely,
you bring up so many great points and so many benefits of art, and all the incredible things that it could bring out in a person, right? And for those who actually view the art as well, I mean, that's a whole other spectrum of its own. So then do you use art as an escape?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Lately, it's been more of work than an escape. I haven't been able to have that moment. Today, actually, my boyfriend pointed it out. He was upset with me this morning about it. Not too upset, but he said that he noticed that the way that I do art is different now, and it's not really comfortable for him. He's used to me kind of creating a vibe in my room and like getting comfortable for hours and like kind of like diving into my stuff. Lately, I've been moving around and I've been only working on one piece at a time, or I've been collaborating, or I've been doing commissions, and commissions aren't the same as doing personal works. And I have been like, even feeling different looking at my art because most of my art is sold. So now I have different things. It's not like the same vibes. They're like so abstract from each other, and they're all next to each other. And I'm like trying to figure out how can I compliment them now, because like I feel like all their partners are gone, you know, and I haven't had the time to really create anything for them, and I don't want to add anything to them. Unless there is something to go along with it. And I also don't want to overwhelm myself, because before I got in this relationship with my boyfriend, I had about over 80 canvases in my room.
Wow.
Some of them weren't even finished. And it was just, it's way less now, because I feel like now they're selling, but it's like, I don't know. I just feel like this spur of creativity needs to be taken advantage of when it comes. And, maybe I need to do better at like, I'm always trying to proclaim that me time, and that me time is supposed to make painting time. But like lately I've been so tired because every day it's like an event. I haven't been painting for myself at all. Like only been painting for people. It's kind of strange because that's like my whole thing, painting for myself.
Yeah. That's kind of where you started, right?
Yeah.
It was for yourself. But it's had such a big impact, I feel like, for so many people in the community, that the demand has gone up so much for your art, you know?
It has. I mean, you know, I can't complain because it's helpful and it's great. But at the same time, I would like to figure out how can I prioritize making it serve me as well, you know? I feel like there's a way.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and that's understandable too, you know? So how has art shaped your life?
It's shaped it in the most broadest way. It's given me so much room for creativity and freedom that it kind of scares me a little bit sometimes. Like, I feel like most of my elders, everybody who surrounds me, they're creative in their own ways. Like when it comes to dance or music or lyrically, like with their poets, like they're just always there, like pouring their stuff into me, making me bring my stuff out. And I feel like I've been expanding so much in these ways that there was a point in time where I was like not sure what to do. You know, I didn't know if I wanted to be a dancer, or if I just wanted to be a journalist, or if I just wanted to like be like, you know, something different, like just something totally random, opposite of this creative spectrum. And I just feel like it's always slapped me in the face every time I try to turn my back on it. It's made me feel like it would be disrespectful if I did not use it. It's no way around it. And like, even if I had thought that I had lost it, it's not there. So that means that I have to keep using it. And then so many people ask for things that like always are wrapped around it. Like, even if I've like stopped doing art for a year, somebody's going to ask me to do something. Mm-hmm. Even if I like purposely don't buy any art supplies and don't do anything, somebody's going to ask for me to go to a birthday party and paint somebody's face or something involving me having to be creative, or like just being a backup dancer, or like anything. Like they would make me do it, and I love it. And they even pay me sometimes, and I feel like that makes it even better. It makes it beneficial, and that's actually what I want to do. I want to make money doing the things I love. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of taken over my life almost. I do it every day. There's so much I want to do, and I'm trying to push it to the side a little bit so I can make film or something. Like, I want to do so much, but it ends up being in my film too. Like, it's everywhere. Like, I love it. It's my strongest suit, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, like I said, you have such great talent and people see that within you, right? And so, yeah, you know, even if you want to take a break, it's people are like, give me more, because
it's nonstop.
Yeah, you create amazing pieces.
Thank you.
I mean, I remember when you came in and you dropped off your piece, not this one, I believe it was the bigger canvas. And I was just like, wow, and it was my first time seeing your art piece because other staff of ours had seen your artwork, but I hadn't. And I was just blown away because it was incredible. And
thank you.
I was like, there's no way that, you know, this should not win. I mean, I wanted to give you the award right away, you know?
Yeah.
I wasn't I wasn't one of the folks that voted because that wouldn't make it fair.
Yeah.
Because I would, you know, get to see all the artists who dropped off the art. But yours was just something extraordinary and it's very special.
Thank you. Thank you. I had made that for my son's father, that piece, actually. He gave it back to me when I broke up with him. But I made it for him for Valentine's Day.
Wow.
Yeah, like I wanted to express my love. And I like making gifts. So that was actually a gift that I had made him. And I've been putting in shows ever since.
Wow.
But yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, to give a gift that has so much meaning, right? Like you could just feel the love and you could just feel that peace.
I really, really wanted to impress him. And I feel like the love that I put in that, I still see it. Like, I kind of love how general the love can be.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
It's not like just for him because he gave it back to me, which means that, like, what am I going to do with it other than love it and, like, show other people? If the person I made it for doesn't want it, of course I'm going to show other people. And I feel like it's everywhere now. It's kind of crazy.
It deserves to be everywhere. It deserves, you know, for people just to see it because... Yeah, I mean, I felt the love, and when I saw it, like my heart just like stopped for a second, you know. So it was truly incredible.
Thank you.
So you mentioned about your dad and how he, you know, he helped you and he, you know, kind of inspired you. So would you say that he was one of your mentors or even any other folks, you know, throughout your art career?
I mean, I've had a few, but my dad definitely was the first one. He was like my motivator. Like he had his art in a magazine at a college that he works at. And when I was a little girl, I used to look at that magazine. I used to get so excited because it's one of my favorite pieces that he made. And he doesn't draw people or anything. He does like tessellations and sacred geometry and stuff. And it's like a whole bunch of like colors, like rainbows. It's really pretty. And I just get so excited seeing his stuff. And I just feel like he hasn't really pushed his stuff as much. And I didn't really think about it that much because my whole idea of art at the time was a little different. Like, I didn't really think that artists could actually get, like, any kind of big name for themselves until after they died. So I didn't think that my dad's efforts to make his art seen was that, like, it didn't matter that much. I just thought that the fact that he did it at least once did it for me, right? And so I just wanted to do the same thing so badly that I was trying to figure out, how can I do this? How can I be this person in my dad's eyes, like that he was being in my eyes? And that job I got, they got me my first shows, and I had like I have like a whole bunch of art shows because of how they started it off. I kind of just kept it going, and my dad showed up to every single one of them, and I feel like that kind of made me keep doing it. And like he always like has like some kind of like, he never tells me my stuff is bad. He always tells me how I can improve though, and he's always acknowledging when it has improved, you know. And he's just like really supportive. He's like also like into his music more than his art. So it's kind of like he just showed it for a therapeutic purpose for me. And I didn't even think about it at the time. So, I mean, yeah, I do have other mentors like one that like has taught me so much that I'm still talking about to this day is Xavier Tiphereth and Gathenji. They go hand in hand because I met them basically around the same time. And I used to work for Xavier as an intern, and he used to just make me do so much as an art curator. And Gathenji, he was like always like changing his mind and always like wanting to switch stuff around, and like I had no idea what to do, and I felt like I was losing my mind. Oh, and also when I met them, my favorite art teacher, she ended up being one of the artists I was curating for. This was before she was my art teacher, and she had a whole bunch of gold leaf paintings, and that's like one of the most tedious paintings you could ever work with. And like I was just so psyched out to just help her like put her stuff up. And then I realized that she was a teacher at my school. Like a year later, wow. I took every class. The art history teacher I was telling you about, I took every class that she had. And she has helped me graduate. Because like I was like struggling with the last art history class, had nothing to do with her. It was like a male teacher, and he was like writing me off my essays. Like he was like not grading them at all. Like giving me zeros. Wow. Like it was terrible. I was going to fail, right? Because I was like, I'm doing well and everything else. He's not grading my essays. And I've never been poorly graded in any of my essays, ever. Like since high school. It's never been a thing, you know? So I went to report him to the dean, and she's the chair of the art department. So her and the dean had a meeting with me and had a meeting with the teacher, and the professor, he turned around and apologized, but then she just like fixed some stuff and told me to drop the class. And she talked to a counselor and got me my credits she like mixed them up around, because I took so many art classes that it's not funny. Like it's not funny. But I've had like a few. They're very motivational people. They're all like really serious about their craft, but they're also very supportive. And I feel like Xavier has taught me to be professional and to always like show my best foot like forward. Gathenji has always made me enthusiastic about life and always made me want to like learn, listen, be patient. And I feel like Carolyn Martin, my professor, she's just so supportive of like women doing it, like she's the reason why I'm even considering anything when it comes to women in art history. It's because she made me think about like there's so many of us, but how many of us do we really know? And then how are we looked at in media, in art? Like she's made me think so much about my position as an artist, and she also is very supportive. And I feel like every other mentor I have, they're not necessarily like visual artists, but if I could say one more, maybe Earl from Beats, Rhymes, and Life. He's always been there for me. Him and Maki, they're pretty cool. They're always there for me. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to have, role models, to have people who are able to influence you and help you out and literally be there by your side when you're struggling to get you through, right? So, and of course to teach you skills,
I mean, I think they accidentally taught me those things because I think they more so cared about my character and how I was coming off to people. They cared about just appearance, mainly, just how I'm stepping, how I'm carrying myself, how I feel about myself. And I feel like that helped a lot. I don't even think that they even really knew if I could do art because I never really presented it to them, to be honest. I just was there.
They believed something in you. Yeah. You were able to just portray that to them. So going back to the 13th call for art where you submitted two pieces. One of them is behind you, which is the 3 separate canvases. Yeah. And then the other one that we talked about, the Melanated Love, which was the winning piece. So we don't have that here, but that's because it's out in circulation at a community center. But how did it feel when you won when you were one of the winners of the 13th Call for Art?
I was surprised. I mean, like, this is about my third time applying for it. Mm-hmm. And this is my first time winning. You know, I cried the first time. The second time I got an honorary mention. And this time I didn't even know what to expect. I was just like, I'm going to keep going in there. I'm going to keep trying, you know. I'm very, like, consistent with that. Like, you could say I'm even a little hard-headed. Like, I don't know. I'm going to keep trying, you know. What's the theme? I'm going to get it. But, yeah, I was just really excited. I feel like I kind of, like, had, like, some form of, like, I don't know. I feel like everything went blank a little bit. Like, I couldn't even think straight. Like, I didn't even process it fully. And I don't even know. That's how it felt.
Yeah. I mean, I love that, you didn't stop trying. You just kept going and going. And each time you heard about it, you're like, I'm going to try one more time, right? So.
I mean, I almost forgot my art teacher in high school. He's the one who actually got me started, Steve Bronson. He's the one who told me to sign up for it. He was making me sign up for every art contest in the 12th grade, like every single one he came across, like a Vans one, this one. And this one, I feel like, because he was so adamant on it, I think that's why I was so consistent with this one. It's kind of hard keeping up with the Vans contest, but this contest, I feel like I know where it's at. You know, I thought it was very convenient that the community center that I like to go to was actually a part of this. So I feel like it actually made me feel like, oh, this is something I can, like, keep in touch with. I can, like, figure out what's going on. You know, I can be like, I could just come and visit and ask about it. And, you know, I know when it's coming up. You know, I feel like because I can prepare for the deadlines and before you even come up with the flyer, I can, like, prepare my mind that it's coming. I think that actually helps. Maybe I should have that mindset about every contest I go for, but I think this one was a little different because I tried 3 times. Mm-hmm. You know, I knew it was coming. Like, yeah, I wanted to, like, be a part of it, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, we tried to, because, you know, we were in the middle of still collecting art pieces, you know, when the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden we were like, wait a second, we want to still give folks an opportunity to continue submitting their art pieces, especially now that they're at home and they might have that extra time, right? Yes. And so we wanted to try to make it as easy as possible for artists to participate. And so we kept ending up postponing the deadline to just include more folks.
And that actually made me feel better too. I think I showed up on the last day and realized it was extended for like 2 more weeks. I was like, okay, well, you know, it's a window.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
So I know that you told us a little bit about the art piece that you submitted, what it meant, who you originally created for. So I'd like you to maybe answer the next question with, what does mental health mean to you?
Mental health.
I know that's a big one to stab at, right?
Yeah, that's a big one. Let me see. In a way I can summarize it, mental health would be self-care and let me just say an example. Yesterday I was sad and I was crying and I couldn't really, like, express why. I didn't really feel comfortable too because of the environment. My son kept asking me if I was okay. And I said I will be better. And he said that sometimes when I'm sad or I'm mad or I just don't feel good, I close my eyes and I take a lot of deep breaths. And then he asked me to join him, and we took like 4 deep breaths. And then he said that after I feel better, I could either talk about it or I don't have to talk about it. And I felt like that is a perfect way of dealing with whatever's coming up for you. And it kind of made me laugh a little bit because I was like, my child is telling me how to, like, regulate my emotions. But it worked. And I just feel like, in a way, mental health could be like always finding you're zen and always finding this happy place, this good place, no matter what that may look like. I mean, you know, if at the moment taking care of your body would make you feel happy, then just get into that. You know, sometimes for me, if I work out, that makes me happy. Or, you know, if I paint, that makes me happy. Or if I like just do anything. I like eating. I really love eating. If I go to like a place that I've always wanted to go to and I get everything I want on the menu, then I feel like I did something good for myself and it makes me happy. But whatever that may look like, you know, I think that mental health depends on the person. It's very catered to in a way. Like, you know, some people just like tea. You know, I like tea, but it makes me happy. But yeah.
Yeah. And you know, and sometimes it's just about the small things, right? Like when we make it too large of a concept, it could just seem too overwhelming as well. So for me, it's, you know, taking things step by step sometimes, because sometimes things could just be too much. And then when it feels like it's too much, then you have no idea where to start from.
Right.
But when you break it into smaller little pieces, then it seems like it's manageable and maybe somehow you can figure it out and you can do it, right? Yeah. So let's see. Let's look at your pictures. We have a couple of your canvases in the back. And maybe, you know, you could tell us a little bit about some of them.
Well, okay, so there's one right here with the crown. I had made that as like a second piece dedicated to Nia Wilson. At the time, I did not really know the young lady, but I cried for a very long period of time after her death, and I couldn't really shake it. It was like really upsetting for me. My friend, I found out that was his cousin, and then later I found out that he was my cousin. So for me, usually when I have strong feelings, I can't shake it. There's always a reason, and I literally couldn't get over it. So I started painting like images that reminded me of her. And I always wanted to give her a halo. So the first one had stained glass in the background. And I had sold that one. I did not give her any pupils. And her crown looked a little different. And this one, I wanted it to be more of like closer to her, you know, but I also wanted it to be very general because I noticed that when I make pieces like the winning piece, they do not sell. They don't, because they just seem so personal, you know. And if it's more general, then people can relate to it. You know, I want her to go to a home. So I wanted her to not be necessarily like connected to anybody in specific, but I did think of Nia when I made that piece. And I think it kind of helps that she looks like somebody else to me. She looks like my son's father's best friend, if that makes any sense. She looks like her. But yeah. And another piece that I could point out is this piece right here. I love tessellations as well. That was like one of the first things my father made me practice was shapes, colors, patterns, and tessellations. And then he made me do sacred geometry and made me master it, made me color everything in afterwards as well. And so for some reason, my whole life growing up, drawing squares and cubes stimulated me. It calmed me down and it helped me focus in class. So I would draw, like I would bring my sketchbook, and if I finished my test before everybody else, I would start drawing squares in my sketchbook until like whenever like test was stopping or class was over, I would just draw. And I would fill up so many pages with it that one day I decided, like, what would it look like if I painted that? You know, that's what my father does, but I never actually painted any of my tessellations. I just drew them in my book. So, I mean, drawn them. But this is one of my favorites because this is one of the most simplest pieces I have ever made. I wanted to do different grayscales with it, and I just wanted to, like, take my time. So each one is kind of like the flattest strokes I can possibly come up with, because I'm a very like anxious person at times. So it's like trying to make my movements calm is like a lot sometimes. This piece took a lot out of me. I couldn't even finish it in a day. Like, I don't understand. It was a lot of like sitting here with only these colors and just sitting here. Like, it's nothing else. Like, it made me want to mess it up. Like, wow. But I love it because I didn't. I messed it up a little bit, but it goes with it. I tried. But yeah.
That's probably something that only you would be able to see. Yeah. But I mean, it just looks so detailed, and, you know, like, it took you a long time, right?
Yeah. It did.
But you expected to finish it within a day?
Yes, because of how simple it is. I mean, like, you know, you kind of put the colors in certain spots, and it's only gray.
Yeah.
You know, you can mix it up, but mixing it up does take time too.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as easy as it looks. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely does not look easy to me. That's for sure.
I feel like based off my other pieces, it's very different. And so I don't think that it's received the same by like my fan base or by anybody who like looks at my art regularly. I mean, you know, she doesn't look like cubes, you know, and there's like no figure to pay attention to in that piece. And I think that most of my abstract pieces or my fauvism or whatever, surrealism, like, it's kind of different to grasp, but it's my favorites. They're my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want you to talk about the 3-piece one that you also submitted to our call for art.
Okay. So I made these 3 before I made that other one. I made these an inspiration to have a series. It's my first series. I wanted to draw women because I really like drawing them for some reason. I try to draw everything and anything, but the women are just more interesting than a lot of my subjects that I choose. And, you know, I wanted them all to be so different from each other in a way that would make women relate in their own ways. Like, you know, if there is certain things they need to concentrate on, then that would be for each different energy. But also their hair being different, also them dressing different, them having different colors, everything is different, which means that they have different energy, they have different feelings. You know, they might relate in their own ways, but, you know, my favorite part is their hair, like how the curls are so different. Like, some has tiny curls and one's has giant curls, and some of you can't even see her curls. And like, I like it, you know. I feel like my favorite one is the one that at the time looked the least from me. Like, we had less similarities. I feel like a lot of people thought I was drawing myself when I did this one. Mm-hmm. And I didn't see that. I actually wanted to be more like this one. Yeah, I really like her hat. I like her outfit. I like her vibe, her energy. And I felt like she was more of where I was trying to be at energetically. I don't even know how to describe that, but I feel like a lot of people see me as one thing, and I feel like I have many layers, and they kind of remind me of different parts that women want to be like their own different forms. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like, you know how Beyonce has Sasha Fierce?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like a whole different person. And she's like got an attitude and stuff. And then Beyonce's like goofy and clumsy. And it's like totally different, you know? And I just feel like in a way they remind me of something like that. Like, this is what people see when they see me. But I feel like these two often, and I feel like they all kind of like work together. And then also they're also telling you to, like, you know, think about what you say, think about what you see, think about what you hear, and really like contribute wisely to that. And I feel like the lesson helps me a lot, as well as like the character. But yeah. Well,
thank you for sharing that, because I mean, I've seen, you know, the trio for over a year now, and I just wanted to hear from you, right, like what it meant. Because I could definitely feel the hidden meanings. But But I'm glad that finally you were able to answer my question on that one.
Oh, the only thing that I wanted them all to have some form of like similarity. So I gave them all chains, like little chains with trinkets, but trinkets that represented their energies on it. And then I also gave them the same face paints.
Wow.
So that they all looked like they came from the same place. But yeah.
Love that. It's definitely a very powerful piece.
Thank you.
So what do you plan on doing with your art skills in the future?
My plan is to have like not even a studio, like a giant community center for artists. Like they don't have to be that giant, but I would like differing forms of art to be explored here for them, and I want them to have free range there. I want them to respect the equipment, of course, but I want them to learn how to use this and make a living out of it if that's what they want to do, because not everybody is meant to be like at a job or like you know, I used to like my boyfriend brings it up all the time, like, oh, you used to work at a cafe. Yeah, I did, and I love cafes. But I also love working for myself. I also love doing art. I love waking up thinking about art. I love not having to wear a uniform. Like yeah, I love traffic directing. Yeah, I love being responsible for people sometimes, but look at me. You know what I'm saying? I'm an artist. Like, I don't want to always have to help you cross the street. Like, I want to sit at home and do my art. I want to be at this mural painting. You know what I'm saying? I want to explore. I want to do stuff. And I feel like if you like to do music, if you like to dance, if you want to do anything in art, not only will I give you the tools, but I can help you figure this out. And I want to do that for kids. And the kind of kids I want to work with, I want to work with either incarcerated youth that were formerly incarcerated or foster youth primarily. I'm not like being like biased. Anybody can come, but that's who I want to work with, because I feel like my son's father, he's a former foster youth, and the way he always presented it to me, and like my friends at the time that I met that were all like kind of like in the same predicament as him, they made it seem as if there wasn't as many resources available as they said they were. Like they were like misrepresented, and they weren't really being looked out for in the way that they thought they were, and that they didn't really give them any tools. They just kept tossing them around back and forth until they were just tired of, like, you know, oh, they're out of the program, or they're 18 or they're 21 or something like that. And, you know, they feel like they have to fend for themselves and figure it out, and they don't even know what it means to be an adult. And nobody in the midst of that has really catered to them, especially incarcerated youth. I mean, like, you know, being in there, I think the most that they care about is if you're good at math. I think that's the most they care about, and like making sure your hair is intact. You know, it's not really like a lot being catered to these youth. And one thing that makes me so adamant on working with the young ones as opposed to the adults is that, like, adults are so hard-headed. They act like they can't do anything. They act like they just don't know anything. If they never learned it, then it's never going to happen. But I feel like with kids, it's like, hey, I never saw that. Let me try it. Hey, I like it. If I don't like it, I'm going to try something else. You know, whatever. And I feel like I'm way easier at working with kids when it comes to them exploring new things. Like, if they never done art before or music, it's not like they're not going to try today with me. And I've worked at Beats, Rhymes, and Life, and we've had kids who acted like they didn't want to rap. And after week 3, they're writing. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have to rap. I mean, at least writing a poem is enough. You know, I've been in the program myself, and I've seen it for myself. Like, one of my friends, she is like a really good writer, and she didn't really want to speak, but she started doing it. We made a whole album.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's incredible.
No, it's a thing. And I feel like I want to do that for kids, especially them, because I feel like there's a lot of kids who have space to do that and don't exercise it. I can like bring it to their attention that's a vibe. And then the kids who need it, like the ones that, like, I realized I needed it like the same way, like therapy. Like, it'd be two different, like, coins for them. Like, you know, they're doing it because, like, it makes sense. They're doing it because it makes so much sense for them. You know, and I feel like those are two different things, and they can vibe together. And it helps bring a middle ground for them, too, so they're not trauma bonding. You know, it's healthy. and then they can eventually make money.
Yeah. I mean, to learn those things at an early age, right? To let your creativity take over and that anything is possible, right?
And maybe, I'm not sure how this will work, if there's like some kind of housing program to help, because I feel like them traveling back and forth to the community center may be an issue. Maybe some of them could stay there and it could be like a program kind of situation. And that way you could for surely make sure that they actually have somewhere to go afterwards and they're not just experiencing stuff, because there's so many community centers I've been to where like basically it's just like a push out.
Yeah.
It's not really like do y'all know if we're good? Like, do y'all care? Like, y'all sold it, and these people don't know us. It's not like you told these people, here's the list of the youth that we are working with. Make sure they're good, or let me make sure they're good before my lease is up. It's like out and like new people, and it's like y'all can't see none of this stuff no more. I'm tired of it. I want to be somewhere for them, and it doesn't have to be a franchise. I just want a nice spot for them. Like, I can make it work. But that's my goal.
And I hope that you accomplish it. I mean, to any degree.
Other than my personal goals, that is my goal.
Yeah, that's an incredible goal. So any last things that you want to share with the community, with your audience? The floor is yours.
There's a few things, I guess. Like, life has not been that easy, coming into this. And I just think that there needs to be more space for artists to be who they actually are in every way. People need to accept people for who they are, and they don't. And not saying that people have to push it on anybody, but I've experienced a long period of people not accepting me, and I feel like it's so funny and ironic that a lot of people who come into their own successes eventually don't get any love from people until it happens. Yeah. And I guess what I would like to say is that the council culture is like toxic, first of all, and that people should get their flowers before they die. That's the second point. And my third point is that I like consistency, and whatever that may look like for everybody, I would like them to do that for themselves and for everybody around them. I feel like people deserve the love, no matter what they're doing. Like, even if they're doing bad, they still need love, and like, they shouldn't get it just because they're doing good, because it becomes overwhelming at that point. Like, let's be real. Like, who wants to become a successful person and all of a sudden people are friendly? Like, that's scary. Why can't you either not be friendly or friendly the whole time so I can know? Like, you could not be friendly to me but still need some money. Like, I understand. Like, oh, Moody Nicole needs some money today. It's not like Nicole being nice all of a sudden because she needs $50. Like, no, I got you, Nicole. You Moody. I got you. Like, it's different. Just be real about how you feel all the time. And I feel like we always will work with each other because we always want to. Like, that's how we are as people. We love each other. We want to work with each other. And I feel like the Bay has not been as kind to me as I wish they have been. And I feel like from here forward, they should look at the rest of these kids that's underneath of me and like really take care of them, show them the way, and not like leave them astray, because they could go either way. And I feel like I don't necessarily know how many people were in my corner to make sure that I was in a good position. And I only know from what I can see, from the people I can name. And I got a handful, but still like it's still enough for me to acknowledge the fact that like I still have to say something about it. Like, people need to love each other a little bit more authentically and not wait for opportunities to love each other, People have been trying to figure out how my art is on this billboard. And my boyfriend's like, don't tell them. And I'm like, it doesn't really matter, right? But nobody really cared until a billboard popped up. Now all of a sudden it's like, I knew you could do it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Still so much to do. So. Yeah. I mean, you brought up such amazing points throughout our time together right now, and just I feel completely different from
when we originally sat here until now. And so I'm just so happy that you shared your time with us. You shared your art with us. You let us in a little bit into your life, because there's so much that we can learn from each other, right? And I could definitely feel the love within you and how much love you have for others. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you. I wish I could hug you right now. But, just I will forever be appreciative that you came by today and you talked to us, and definitely we'll keep in touch. We'll find ways to work together, because you just have so much to offer,
Thank you.
So thank you.
Face paints, parties, whatever you need me for. I can paint something, I live painting, whatever,
Yeah.
I'm there. I got prints, I just be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you. Okay. Well, I just wanted to say thank you to my mentors and elders that taught me art and taught me how to be a good person, and helped me with my character building. Mainly been my motivational people still to this day. First is my dad, Douglas Banks. He is one of the greatest artists I know, and a really great musician. And Kim McCullough, she's my second mom. She taught me almost everything I know to be a perfect person in life. Taught me how to knit, so now I'll be warm forever. And Gathinji, he's taught me how to have patience and how to be open-minded and more creative and go with the flow for the most part. Xavier Tiphereth taught me how to be more professional, and he taught me how to also carry myself as a person in every aspect, and how to talk about people, even if I had my own kind of reservations, it's always good to have a good kind of rapport with everybody. And Carolyn Martin is actually an art history professor. She's the greatest ever, and I met her when I was working for Xavier, and I met Gathinji while I was working for Xavier, and both of them impacted me in this kind of I didn't want to mess up her art, and I wanted to make sure everything was perfect. And when I found out she was my teacher, I took all her classes, and she helped me graduate, and she's the coolest ever. And I just had to say her name. And Rafael Flores, he's my film teacher. He's a great guy, and he's very serious, and he's about his business too. He helps me care so much about being on time. But yeah, those are the people I can think of at this moment. There's other people, but I don't want to take up too much time. Yeah, I love y'all. Thank you.